Elon Musk, chieftain of the Zagwo Dutch, surveyed the land's sun-drenched territories his people now call home. His nomadic nation, a vibrant fusion of Dutch ingenuity and Zagwo resilience. Through the years of commanding his mobile society and navigating the treacherous landscapes, Elon presses on his goals of making his people great. The tribe's herbs are flourishing and ever expanding. And now, the most promising lands that will ensure our survival lays in the plains of Salamat, traditionally under the claim of Chief Mamain. It was a delicate situation. In his earlier days in Africa, before the Zagwo Dutch became to be, Elon had undertaken significant projects for the chieftain. Various irrigation works and improving the infrastructure of the yurts, tasks that greatly benefited Mamain's people and forged deep bonds of mutual respect and a genuine liking between the two of them. We are now in Elon's yurt with his blood brother, recently appointed Samoni Isaac, along with his wife Mariana, who was a sharp and vindictive woman who provided ruthless counterpoints, often to cautious counsel. Chief Mamain's lands in Salamat, specifically these pastures along the Blue River. Our scouts confirmed their richness. Our herds could recover and flourish there for many months. Mamain, he remembers our past collaborations. He was always fair. He valued my work. And that history, it should count for something. Chieftain, your prior relationship with Chief Mamain is a positive factor, certainly. He holds you in high personal regard. However, Salamat, while not as powerful as Chief Astu in the east, is still established. Granting extensive grazing rights to an outside power could lead to much internal resistance. He is maybe friendly, but his ability to concede may be limited. Friendship is a fragile shield against the demands of a growing tribe, husband. Mamain may like you, but he is still chieftain. He will speak warmly of old times and offer you honeyed words, and then he will offer you dust and excuses when it comes to land. I don't think you should expect anything from him, especially when survival is at stake. We approach him with honor, Mariana, as one chieftain to another. As one who was once a welcome guest and helper, we will offer generous terms. We're not coming there as conquerors, but as neighbors seeking mutual benefit. It was at that moment Elon then pointed at Kadir, a man whose diplomatic and magnanimous nature was well suited for the task, to lead the envoy to the chief. And along with him was Ito the Gentle, Elon's physician. They carried gifts and carefully worded proposals outlining Elon's offer. Several weeks have passed, and days. Several days have passed. Kadir and Ito returned, their expressions a mixture of disappointment and concern. They immediately went to Elon, where Samoni and Effain awaits the news. Kadir. Master Elon! Chieftain Mamain received us with all the outward signs of friendship and respect, and he spoke at length of your past service to him and the benefit you brought to Salamat. He asked after your health and your family. There is no doubt of his personal affection for you. Indeed, chieftain, his warmth was genuine, and yet when we presented your proposal for the pastures, a shadow fell over him, and he convened with his council, and their resistance was absolute. They viewed those lands as sacred, to Salamat tied to the spirit of their ancestors. They fear that to allow one outside tribe to graze there would set a precedent, inviting future demands from others less scrupulous than us. What? Ancestral spirits needing gas for costly cows? Is it? Chief, this is preposterous. Mamain hides behind his elder's skirts. He enjoyed your genius when it suited him, and now he denies our people sustenance? This is not friendship, it is an insult veiled in soft words. We should just take the pastures. Oh. So Mamain, he offers nothing despite our history, our mutual respect and the fairness of our request. He allows the fears of his council to dictate it over reason and mutual need. This is very disappointing. Kadir, it's a rejection to peace. Now, he did offer an alternative, Master. He offered some sparse land far to the southeast. But I have to tell you, it's smaller and not very good, quite frankly, and is closer to the borders with some desert raiders. It's clearly an adequate gesture. He claims his hands were tied, and he expressed personal regret. Chieftain, this alternative is unattainable. It does not provide sufficient grazing, invites conflicts, and puts us in a very bad position. We're already surrounded on all fronts. Chief Mamain, for all his professed friendship, is trying to deny us of what we need. I think we should reevaluate our approach. This sentiment must now yield to what we need. He leaves us no honorable alternative. But that does not also mean the starvation of our flocks and herds. My first duty is to the Zagwo Dutch, to their well-being and their future. If Chieftain Mamain's friendship cannot recognize this basic truth, then our friendship has reached its limit. And we must now have a more forceful conversation. The lines were drawn, not in hatred, but in a harsh calculus of survival and leadership. This past friendship was now to be overshadowed by the needs of a growing nation. Elon Musk understood that sometimes, even with regret, a leader must take what is essential for his people's prosperity. The fertile pastures of Salamat, vital for the Zagwo Dutch, were now a point of inevitable, tragic conflict. There was no turning back. The chieftain of Salamat, despite his past enmity with Elon, had chosen tradition over a pragmatic alliance. And for Elon, the needs of his people were paramount. The pastures along the separate river were not a luxury, but a necessity for the survival and growth of his nation. Regret was a private burden, action was a public duty. His skills as a leader in conflict was honed over the years of adventure and defense, was now brought to bear. And now, as he plans for his campaign, he consults closely with Semenoni, his blood brother, and Kadir and Mariana. Chieftain, Mamain's main forces are concentrated here, guarding to traditional approaches to the Blue River. His numbers are significant on paper, but their readiness and equipment are likely inferior to ours. We will not expect an attack of this speed, or from the past, which our scouts consider too difficult for a large force. The northern pass, it is risky, but the element of surprise, it could be decisive. The main expects a direct challenge. We can give him an expected one. Kadir, our mounted archers, can they navigate the terrain? There's Zagwell Dutch chieftain, born of the sands and saddle, trained with Dutch discipline. If any can make that passage, it is our men. They are eager to prove our strength, and they trust your strategy. Strike hard and fast, husband. Let Mamain's regret be that what he ever underestimated you. A swift victory chills the heart of other would-be challengers like High Chieftain Atsu or that stubborn Jabari. Oh, victory, yes. But our purpose is the pastures, Mariana. Not a needless slaughter. We'll take what is necessary and establish our rights. The war party moved with astonishing speed, their hybrid cavalry. They traversed the difficult northern pass, appearing suddenly on the flank of Mamain's unprepared forces in Salamat. The surprise was total. Chief Mamain's warriors, though brave, were thrown into disarray. They had expected a formal challenge, a slow advance, not this whirlwind assault. Elon, though not a frontline brawler, commanded the battle with keen oversight. His stutter forgotten in the urgency of command, directing his formations and exploiting weaknesses with swift, decisive orders. His past experience in numerous skirmishes are now paying dividends. Abba! Their left flank is wavering. Press the advantage. Horse archers, cover his advance. Kadir, hold the center. Do not let them regroup. The battle, though fierce, was one-sided. The superior training and equipment of the Zagwell Dutch proved overwhelming, and many of Mamain's warriors laid down their arms or fled. Within hours, it was clear that Salamat's strength was broken, and Chief Mamain was captured as he attempted to rally his personal guard. You fight like no man I have ever known, Elon. Not like a desert raider, not like a settled king. Like a storm from a clear sky, I misjudged you and your people. My friendship for you had blinded me to your ambition, or perhaps to the hunger of your tribe. This was not my desired path, Chief Mamain. I offered friendship in fair terms. But you chose this, my people. They must have land to live, and their needs must be met, and they are not negotiable. And so you take what you need by force? What now, Dutchman? Will you put my people to the sword? Claim my title? No, Mamain. There's been enough bloodshed to secure what is needed. Salamat, its pastures, its water, they're now under the sovereignty of the Zagwell Dutch. They will sustain my people. As for you, your rule here is over. And you and your closest kin will be escorted from these lands, banished, to seek your fortune elsewhere. Do not return. Salamat has a new master. And now Mamain, a once respected chieftain, was now in exile. He looked with a mixture of bitterness and comprehension at the new power that had arrived in the Sahel. The lands were entirely subjugated, and Elon Musk, once again, expands. It was harsh and decisive, severing that old friendship, but it was vital to secure the resources for the Zagwell Dutch. His reputation for ruthlessness was now marked upon the Red Sands. fertile plains of Zalamat now lay under the control of Elon and his people. And now it was time to assess the strategic value and challenges of absorbing the remaining populace. Within his newly erected yurt, Elon confers with his inner circle. Chieftain, the pastures along the Blue River are even richer than our scouts initially reported. They can sustain our herds and allow for significant expansion for at least 3 seasons. The irrigation channels, though neglected under Mamain, can be quickly restored and improved with your designs. The local population is subdued, fearful, but not openly hostile now that Mamain has gone. Husband, fear is an excellent motivator for compliance. Simone, let them fear us a little. It will make them cooperative. Mamain's mistake was his sentimentality, his attachment to the sacred ground and old friendships. We must not repeat it. Salamat is ours now. His people will serve our needs, or they too can seek their fortunes in the wilderness like their former chief. The people of Salamat, they are not our enemies now, Mariana. They are potential assets. Their labor, their knowledge of this land, it has value. We offer them a choice. Integrate, accept Zagwalk Dutch law and customs, or depart peacefully. There will be no persecution of those who choose to live under our rule in good faith. But this disloyalty, that will be met with force. A pragmatic approach, brother. It minimizes resentment while maximizing resources. We will need to establish clear lines of authority and appoint local overseers from our own trusted Zagwell Dutch. Or even integrate some of Mamain's former headmen. This will require us to recruit more knights. Oh boy, we have a lot of work cut out for us. Elon's genius for organization was immediately apparent. He directed the systemic cataloging of Salamat's resources, defensible positions, grazing capacities, and he made projects to repair and enhance the existing infrastructures. His experience as an architect and a veteran adventurer allowed him to easily establish patrol routes and watchtowers. It was Kadir who was tasked with outreaching to the remaining Salamat villagers. Chieftain Elon Musk is a man of vision, elders. He builds, he does not merely destroy. Your lives under his rule can be more prosperous, more secure than before. He asks only for your loyalty and your willingness to contribute to the strength of the Zagwell Dutch. Mamain chose conflict, and you have a chance to choose a path of cooperation. And of course, not all were convinced. Some of Mamain's staunchest supporters melted into the hills. Elon, ever the realist, anticipated this, and he made various defenses, creating a mobile, vigilant security force. And along with that, Ito was working tirelessly, offering her healing skills not just to the Dutch but to the Salamat, softening the hearts of the people. And meanwhile, fame proudly proclaims a new era. See? This is how a true leader acts. Chieftain Elon took what was needed, no dithering, no debates. Salamat will thrive under a leader who understands progress. Those other chieftains like that peacock Atsu to the east, they should take note that the Zagwell Dutch are the future. His enthusiasm is a tonic, Simononi. Even if his diplomacy leaves something to be desired, but he speaks a kind of truth. We are indeed the future, and we are building. Now, what of High Chieftain Atsu? How has he reacted to our acquisition of Salamat? Scouts report Atsu's war bands are more active along his western borders, Chief. Not directly threatening us yet, but his posture is watchful. He is assessing our strength, our intention. The banishment of Mamain will have sent ripples through all the tribes. They see a new power has risen, one that does not play by the old rules. Let Atsu watch, husband. Let them all watch and tremble. The more they fear our resolve, the less likely they are to challenge it directly. Perhaps it is time to send gifts to some of Mamain's former vassals. Gifts to remind them of who their new, more powerful benefactor is. Loyalty can often be purchased, or at least rented. Whew. Yes, Mariana, subtlety and strength, but both have their place. We consolidate Salamat, we make it productive, we make it an integral part of our nation, and then we will see new horizons await. Our journey is far from over. Along with the consolidation of Salamat under Elon Musk's banner, neighboring chieftains watched this new dynamic with a mixture of fear and cautious respect. Elon knew that he had to expand if he wanted to survive, and with that, his next target was Chieftain Gukuni. Gukuni's lands laid along vital trade arteries, and bringing him under tribute would significantly enhances Elon's fortune and regional influence. Chieftain Gokuni, he is proud and his forces are not insignificant. A direct assault on his main stronghold, it would be costly. But his territory, it has a weakness. The mountain range. In Salamat now our lands lie just beyond it. He will fear an attack. He will think to attack us from the air if he thinks our main forces are tied down elsewhere. Gokuni is indeed protective of his access to the southern trade routes that pass close to Salamat. If he perceived it as vulnerable while our main army was engaged, he might be tempted to make a bold move. He might even try to circle the entire western mountain range and strike Salamat to relieve the pressure of his own land. A chieftain who overextends himself is a chieftain ripe for destruction. Lure him out, husband. Let his own ambition be his undoing. Precisely, Mariana, precisely. Simeone. We will begin a very viable, very convincing siege on his northernmost fortress, Fitri. Let's make it look like a long, difficult undertaking. Kadir, Abba, your men must make a great show of preparation. Our siege engines must be seen to be built. Let the Gokuni scouts report that our full attention is fixed there. A faint chieftain. While he believes us bogged down at Fitri, he will make a move in the mountains. Yes, and when he does, his army will be committed to that long march stretched thin and far from his own supply lines. And that is when we will make our move. We'll abandon the siege and we will race down south to Salamat and intercept him here in our chosen ground. A brilliant if risky gambit, brother. If the timing is precise, we could indeed catch his army in a vulnerable position. They'll maneuver right into a fatal trap. And our reward? A tributary. The plan was set, and Elon's forces with great display began to invade the fortress of Fitri in the northern lands. The days were long and the siege lines were dug. Gokuni scouts reported back to their chieftain that Elon was committed to the siege, and just as he predicted, Gokuni, seeing the opportunity, gathered his army and made a swift march along the western mountains to launch an attack on a vulnerable Salamat. And in that moment, Elon's own hidden scouts confirmed Gokuni's army was fully committed, the siege was abandoned, and then the campfires were left burning to maintain the illusion for a few precious hours. Under the cover of darkness, the mobile Zagwell Dutch force raced to the south, swift and silent, a river of hardened warriors flowing through the night. And they reached the lands of Salamat very quickly. The ambush point Elon had suggested well before Gokuni's army emerged from the mountains. Now! Both flanks loose! Drive them into the killing zone, Abba! Charge when they break no mercy for those who invade the Zagwell Dutch. The trap was sprung, and with devastating efficiency, Gokuni's army was now in a defile with no room for maneuvering, no battle lines. The Zagwell Dutch was fresh and fighting on their own chosen ground. Gokuni's own offensive turned in a catastrophic blunder. The battle was short and brutal, and his forces decimated. A mere fraction could escape into the mountains, and Chief Gokuni himself wounded, his authority shattered. And now, Elon Musk then goes to siege victory and once again demonstrate his mastery of strategy and his unyielding resolve to build his nation. And through the deep chieftain the subjugation of Chieftain Gokuni, following the absorption of Salamat, firmly established Elon Musk as the dominant force in the region. Yet to the east, the powerful High Chieftain Atsu remained a formidable presence. His extensive territories bordering Elon's expanding sphere of influence. Atsu was a man of old power and immense pride, and he had watched Elon's rise with a mixture of curiosity and ill-conceived disdain. Seeing the Zagwell Dutch as upstarts, Elon recognized Atsu was not just a neighbor, but as a potential long-term rival whose influence could curtail his own ambitions to build a lasting fortune and secure a prosperous future for his people. A direct conquest of Atsu's lands would be bloody and protracted. Elon, however, conceived of a different approach. Hot Chieftain Atsu, he is like an old lion, powerful, dangerous, but his pride is his greatest vulnerability. A direct war of conquest, now it would be costly for both of us, but his arrogance, it needs a check. Atsu commands many warriors, brother, and his lands are extensive. And he even has tributaries of his own that would rally to his banner. Why not? Can we just humiliate him? Diminish his prestige and seize some herds? Scaling down and forcing concessions without the need for a full-scale invasion. Our intelligence suggests some of his western borderlands are less heavily garrisoned. Yes, humiliation. I like the sound of that. Husband, let the old lion roar in frustration as the young lion takes the choicest morsels from his kill. A public humbling will do more to diminish his standing among the other chiefs than a dozen bloody battles. It will show that even a high chieftain is not beyond the reach of the Zagwell Dutch. It will make others think twice before offering insult or resistance. Yes. A sharp lesson. We will not aim to take his capital, no. But we will raid his western holding grounds. We will defeat any force he sends against us in the open field. We will make him feel the price of his disdain for our growing strength. Kadir, Afain, prepare the war bands. Atsu, that old windbag. It's high time someone deflated his pompous self. A humiliation? Yes! Let's show him what true power looks like. And then the war machine, honored by the previous campaigns and Elon's constant drive for efficiency, moved with startling speed. They struck deep into Atsu's western territories, bypassing heavily fortified positions, targeting his vast herds, the core of his wealth and prestige. Atsu, of course, enraged by this audacity, dispatched a large force to intercept and destroy Elon's raiders. He expected to crush these upstarts. The two armies met on the plains. Elon, the veteran adventurer, had chosen his grounds carefully, and his tactical mind and senses allowed him to anticipate Atsu's move, more conventional than normal. In the thick of battle, Chieftain! Atsu's horsemen are overextending, leaving his infantry's flank exposed. Now is the moment for all heavy horse archers to strike. Abba! Signal the charge! Hit them hard! Break their line! Khadir, your raiders, exploit the confusion! The ensuing battle was a stunning victory for the Zagwo Dutch. Atsu's army, though larger, was outmaneuvered and decisively beaten. The High Chieftain was not captured, but his forces suffered heavy losses, and a significant portion of his herd was driven off by Elon's victorious warriors. The news of the defeat and the humiliation of having his cattle paraded through the camp spread it like wildfire. And soon, a few weeks, High Chieftain Atsu arrives, an envoy of High Chieftain Atsu, looking disheveled and humble. High Chieftain Elon Musk, my master, High Chieftain Atsu. He acknowledges your victory. He desires peace. He is prepared to offer substantial tribute, herds, gold, and recognition of your people's strength to end this regrettable conflict. He conceives your glory is renowned. He bleeds, husband. His pride is wounded. This is better than taking his barren lands. His fear will ensure our peace for many seasons. Tell your master Atsu that the Zagwo Dutch desire peace as well. But peace must be built on mutual respect, not on arrogance or disdain. We accept his terms. Let this be a lesson that the sands of the Sahel, they have a new wind blowing. And it is the Zagwo Dutch. High Chieftain Atsu was deeply humiliated, and Elon's prestige soared. He expanded his wealth through herds and tribute, and weakened his rival. The nomadic chieftain was reshaping the very power dynamics of the Sahel. With High Chieftain Atsu's humiliation and his subsequent enforced tribute, it sent a clear message across the Sahel. The Zagwo Dutch were a new power, and Atsu's regular offerings of herds and gold swelled Elon's treasury. However, Elon had to address some existential and outstanding issues. We recalled the time with the war with the chieftain Gakuni from the north. While Gakuni had been decisively defeated and made into a tributary, Elon learned that the neighboring Falata chieftain played a duplicitous role, granting Gakuni's forces passage through Falata lands and their ill-fated attempt to strike at Salamat. Such treachery, enabling an attack on his people, could not go unanswered. The Falata, their chieftain, he has a debt to pay. He gave Gokuni safe passage. He allowed his lands to be used as a corridor to attack our home in Salamat. This collusion, it is an act of war by proxy. It will not stand. Indeed, High Chieftain. Yes, brother. The Falata's complicity with Gokuni's presented a significant threat. Strategically subduing them is vital. We must secure our southern border from the future of such treachery, and let it serve as a warning to others who might consider aiding your enemies. And their strength isn't even comparable to ours now. Let them learn the price of betting on the wrong jackal husband. Gokuni grovels. Now Falata will learn the true meaning of the Zagwell Dutch displeasure. Their lands will make a fine addition to our routes. Their herds a welcome supplement to our own. Let your justice be as swift as their chieftain deceit was sly. The campaign against Falata was not a prolonged affair. It was a punitive expedition, executed with ruthless efficiency. The Falata chieftain, exposed and outmatched, was quickly overthrown, his lands absorbed into Elon's ever-expanding domain. It was amidst these campaigns and the tangible growth of his nation's power and security that Mariana, his wife, gave birth to this firstborn son. A strong son, High Chieftain, healthy and vigorous like his father. He has your eyes, I believe. He will be a great comfort to his mother and a beacon of hope to our people in years to come. He is perfect, my son and heir to everything that we are building. A small gurgle. He even sounds a little like me already. We will call him X3, a name for the new generations. The birth of X3, who indeed inherited his father's characteristic stutter, as he began to form his first words, further solidified Elon's unwavering focus on legacy. Now, not only was he building a future for his people, but also securing it for his lineage. With Falata secured and his southern flank solidified, Elon turned his attention to the final piece: domination of the Wadi region, and officially ascending to being a High Chieftain. The final subjugation. The Wadi, a vast and resource-rich territory, now lies under Elon Musk's authority. His power, his influence, has now reached the zenith. People of the United Zagwell Dutch Nation, warriors of Samat, peoples of the Falata, tribes of the unified Wadi, today marks a new epoch. Your chieftain, Elon Musk, through his unmatched vision and his genius, has brought these lands under one banner of strength and purpose. His forged order from chaos, unity from division. From this day forward, by all acclaims, by the consent of the allied sheiks, and by the undeniable right of his mighty deeds and wise leadership, he shall now be known as High Chieftain Elon Musk of the United Zagwell Dutch Nomadic Confederacy. Whoa! And with that, Elon had decreed a grand merge to be held, a nomadic hunt and festival, and the most ambitious his people had ever undertaken. It was to display his wealth and test their warriors and bond the clans under his purview. The Nerge was a spectacle of nomadic prowess refined by his organization. Vast herds of gazelle and antelope and boars were skillfully driven and harvested. And Elon, with his enduring health and experience as a veteran adventurer, was at the heart of the action, his commands assuring efficiency and minimizing chaos. Oh, never have I seen such a bounty, High Chieftain. The spirits of the hunt smile upon us. Your leadership brings us endless fortune. The yield is substantial, High Chieftain. Yet the herds were perhaps not as dense in some traditional hunting grounds, as our elders recall from past. And the grazing lands beyond our immediate control appear thinner than you expected it from the distance. As the days of the Nerge concluded and the great feastings began, you will note Simone's quiet observations began to echo in reports from other elders and Elon's own overseers. The land was showing signs of strain. The hunt was magnificent, High Chieftain. Our bellies are full, our warriors are celebrated. Why the long faces? Surely this is a time for continued rejoicing, not for furrowed brows. The rejoicing was welcome, Athane, but the land speaks to us in subtle ways. Our healers have noticed some traditional medicinal herbs are harder to find, and the water levels in some lesser wadis are lower than they should be. The earth provides, but it also has its limits. My analysis of the herd movements during the Nerge and reports from our scouts in the further reaches of the wadi concur with Ito's concerns, High Chieftain. Our herds and populations are now so significant, even your improvements are becoming insufficient. The fertility is good, but it is not limitless. We are beginning to overgraze. If we do not find new pasture soon, future seasons will bring hardship and not bounty. Then we must expand further, more conquests, my husband. There are always weaker tribes to the south, to the west. Or we could press Atsu for more tribute. We could take his best lands now that he is cowed. A nation that does not grow dies. Conquest. Yes, Mariana, that is one path. But to fight for diminishing returns here, it is insufficient. Look! There is old tales of vast fertile plains to the east, less populated than these river valleys. I think we should go there. The east, High Chieftain? That is a monumental undertaking. A migration of our entire people across that area is pretty hostile. Oh boy. If that land is as fertile as you suggest, brother, then we gotta go. We'll solve our grazing problems for the foreseeable future and make us a very good power in the Nile Valley. We will prepare meticulously. We will secure and scout the routes and gather supplies. We will migrate eastward, and we will carve out a new heartland for our people. A land of true and lasting prosperity. This is my vision, and this is our next great adventure. A hush fell over the council, followed by a rising murmur of excitement, trepidation, and unshakable loyalty to their chieftain, Elon Musk. He was the High Chieftain of the Nomads, and once again, betting his people's future on a bold, audacious gambit. The fertile plains to the east promised a new destiny, and their journey was soon going to commence.